Hello and welcome to Who Does Rolls. I am your host Mike B for Mumble Jumbo thingy stuff for August. It's definitely August. I've just been camping. So to be clear, to clarify all this thing, I don't enjoy camping. I really don't enjoy camping. I love the convenience of having things I like very close to hand. My idea of a holiday is a fucking holiday, not camping. However, my beloved and Jamie and Tony and a bunch of and Robbie, some of the gaming group, they are definitely Jamie and Tony and their significant others are big campers. They love a camp or two, and they have insidiously convinced my wife this is a good idea. So we went camping the weekend just gone. Well, actually, they're still camping. I'm not, which tells you this was planned. I was going to be working anyway next week, so I couldn't stay for the entire duration. But I was also deemed by her indoors that she knew what an intolerable dickhead I could eventually become stuck in a field with them. So it was built in to evacuate me at a safe point before the tantrums began. So yeah, I've been there with them for a few days. It has done nothing to change my opinion on camping. I just everything is an inconvenience where it's normally easy. I don't understand how that functions as a holiday. If this was sold to me as a gaming paradise, that I would be able to be involved in. That didn't happen either. But yeah, you know what? If you enjoy it, fine. If it's your thing, fine. It's not for me. It's not for me. However, I endured, and I hopefully didn't become too intolerable during that time. But there we go. That was fun. Yeah. Anyway, what I've been playing. Let's do that. Played stuff. Well, not a lot, because obviously this past weekend is on Sunday. I'm doing this, recording this. I normally would have played games on Friday and on the Sunday. However, clearly the Sunday is not going to happen because they're in a field somewhere, and Friday didn't happen because I was in a field somewhere. So not much there. The week prior to that, and this is what will kind of become discombobulated, but I think I've covered up to more recent stuff. With a machine being the last thing, that the big game we sunk our teeth into, and I don't think I'll change. But I would like to possibly try it again, maybe. But in all honesty, if I never play it again, it wouldn't be the end of my world. And again, it's not for me. It was very heavy, pointlessly so. However, we've been playing a lot of Frosthaven on the Sunday nights. We've had a fairly good run of it. We're going to take breaks every so often. We're coming up to the end of the first winter. Winter has come. So I think once we get out that side of winter, we'll give it another pause before we start summer up again. On the whole, I don't know where we are in the campaign. It feels like a midway point, even though it doesn't. But we've checked off a few things. We've had a couple of retirements now. I've just retired my Banner Spear character, who I had since the very beginning we started playing. It was quite a long personal quest it took to get rid of. And just general thoughts and feelings on the whole. I always enjoyed the mechanics of the card play and the two levels of card play. All that in Gloomhaven was always what I really enjoyed about it. That with this overarching sort of quest legacy thing, and the retirement of characters, discovering new characters and classes. That is the core of the game, and that still is there in Frosthaven. With refinements, certainly, and a lot of additions. My general feeling at this point is I love a lot of what they've done. All the new characters that I've played so far are great, and there's still a lot I haven't unlocked or played yet. I'm just starting my second character. It's one of the unlocked classes, so I won't go too deep into that and give spoilers for the minute, but that yeah, on the whole, these scenarios, I've enjoyed a lot of scenarios. They're a lot more inventive, a lot more interesting than really what in the big critique of the original Gloomhaven was. They felt very much like a run in and stab everyone in the room, and that was it. That was kind of what it is. They still rear their heads occasionally, but there's also a good mix of puzzly, elementy sort of stuff and some nice sort of playing around with the format. However, it comes at a cost. with all the added complexity of these levels and stuff, it does kind of drag out the game a little bit. So you often only get one one game in a night, or certainly as technically kind of the GM for the game. And I'll go into that in a little bit more. I'm done usually after one play, because it's like, ugh, on my brain I've been calculating all sorts of shit. Which leads me to a thing, is like, obviously I'm using an app. We're using the Frosthaven app, free, fantastic. It's like the Gloomhaven helper they had. It just takes all the card play and the loot deck and some of the refinements and just all the stuff of the general minutiae of tracking who's going in what turn order and all the monster stuff, which would result in a pile of fucking chits and cardboard on the table. It would fill your table up. Just all is contained in the app. I would never play without it. It would add hours to your game playing it. I don't know who would willingly do that. I mean, I don't get it. I feel as a little bit, and I know Shut Up and Sit Down touched on this, is that it's a big ass box of cardboard, and there is a lot in it. You could streamline that by taking quite a chunk of stuff out, by just pushing people to use the app. However, I guess we're in that world. But there's a sentiment I kind of got behind. So yeah, there's that. I'm now drinking coffee. I'm just trying to keep myself perky and awakened. I had a lovely shower when I got back. Oh, it's the best shower in the fucking world. Anyway, Frosthaven. So yeah, it may be a midway point. Overall, the general feelings are, I do still enjoy the game. I love the mechanisms of the fights and the card and the interplay of all that, how those cards all work, and discovering new classes and all that. They added the outpost phase, which is kind of cool, where you're unlocking buildings and building out the Frosthaven camp. But it does add, which is why we're getting down to one game a night, because if you do an outpost phase, then that is maybe half an hour or so. We're finding that down, but it's a chunk of time, this sort of all this replug and prepare for the next bit or whatever you're going to do. Trying to think of anything else. It's kind of where I'm at with it. It's a good addition on top of. I think you don't need to play Gloomhaven to play Frosthaven. Frosthaven is a really streamlined and probably better version. However, it is marred by all the extra shit. There's done nothing to reduce the gameplay time. So it's very much a game. You've got to kind of... It's a big game. I mean, I can see the point. It's a big, fucking, huge, long-winded, big, leisurely game. So, in theory, you're not going to get through it in days, weeks, months. It is something you're investing a year of your life easily in, if not more, to really kind of dig into it and go through it. And that's what we kind of bought into. So I think on the whole, that's what it should be doing. Everything should feel a little bit like a Sunday evening, like that sort of leisurely, I just got a bit of time today, we're just going to savour it and do it. And if you've got the spare time and all that, fine. We squeeze it in and we do it. Overall, I have enjoyed it. I found it frustrating at times. I found some of the level design a little frustrating. The story itself, I mean, it's there, and it's a little overwrought, a little overwritten maybe, and ultimately, I couldn't really tell you what the storyline is. It's just stuff is happening, but I'm in there for just enjoy kind of the journey, and the journey is on the whole satisfying. I still feel that we're on the tip of the iceberg of actually unlocking stuff and seeing more stuff, because I don't feel we have got into the real meat of what might be in here. I think with a couple of retirements we should maybe see what happens. It's been nice to get a couple where we've started to feel like the engine's started to churn on it. So there you go, it's Frosthaven. If you've never played it, Jaws of the Lion, I would say, is a good place to start. Get and play that and see if you like what the game is doing. And then if you really enjoy that, then absolutely go for I would say skip Gloomhaven and go straight to Frosthaven if you're going to do that. I know they're bringing out a second edition. I'm not sure what that's got in it extra or what's been refined, but Frosthaven seems like from Jaws of the Lion, maybe. If you're going to do it, do that. I don't know. What the fuck ever. Anyway, but yeah, enjoying that to a point. Res Arcana, we've been playing a chunk of. This beauty here. I mentioned this the other week. It is a really cracking, lovely, tight little engine builder with a small deck of cards. Ben picked a copy up from all the expansions for playing mine. We've been playing this a lot in the evenings as the rollout of a game of an evening. And I'm really enjoying it because there is some variety there. It's not always guaranteed who's going to win and what's going to happen. Love a bit of that. Love Res Arcana. I fear there's probably something else we've played of Ben's, but I'm blanking on what that was. I thought we just played some Monster Assaults last week. So that's kind of bringing you up to where we are. And I thought I'd touch a bit on Frosthaven and generally how it is. That's it. So let's do some news. News! I'm sorry, this is very low energy. I'm very tired. I've been in the fucking field for a few days. Oh, it's been a joy. So refreshed and ready for take on the world. So news, let's cover some bits. Gen Con happened the other week, and to be honest, I used, as I said in the video before, I think I used to get a lot of anticipation for Gen Con. It's just not there anymore. I don't know. There was a few things. I did look at what was released on the list on the Board Game Geek, which may be a test of why I wasn't that thrilled, because there wasn't a lot I pulled off of there. So I did spot there's a couple of Texas Chainsaw Massacre games coming out. There's one coming from Funko called, I think, Slaughterhouse, and then the other one's just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre from, I want to say, Ghost House board game, something like that. They're doing another game I'll come to in a second. So yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I do like a bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Though I quite enjoy the sequel. The deranged Dennis Hopper, one of my favourite actors in it, and the chainsaw fight, and it's bizarre. But the first one for Unrelenting Terror, just as a just very cool, sort of weird and wonderful slasher with not a lot of blood and violence in it, to be fair, considering its point on the Nazis list and what you would think you would see in it. It's actually a lot of it's implied. A lot of it's implied, but it's kind of got just this general tone of like, what the fuck. Anyway, it's a favourite of mine. I do love the Texas Chainsaw movies, or the first couple anyway. And I like the aesthetic of it. So there's a couple of board games coming out of this. Sounds interesting just because it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. It has me interested. Another horror movie license thing what got me really interested, because we do love the horrors, was Halloween. There's a Halloween game coming from the Ghost House guys, the guys I mentioned with one of the TCM games. That is interesting because it's John Carpenter. I love a bit of Halloween. This has also been designed by Emerson Matsuuchi, who did the Century Spice Well, but also specifically Spectre Ops, which was a 1 versus many game, which I believe is... Halloween is also going to be a 1 versus many. Someone's playing Michael Myers, everyone else is the babysitters, I guess, or whatever. Sounds good. Sign me up. I'm interested in all of that stuff, just because it's all stuff that I enjoy. Funko also put out a Scream kind of party game thing with the interaction with a mobile phone, which I've seen around. I'm kind of on, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff has me interested. I saw the Gen Con released information. One other thing from that, obviously, I don't know if you've seen the news reports of 300 grand's worth of Magic the Gathering cards were nicked at Gen Con by two dudes. I have subsequently seen, I know somewhere, I think on Facebook, on someone put up that they've been identified, these two guys. Essentially what they did is they rolled in the day before, like setup day at Gen Con, with a flat card, or grabbed a flat card and basically filled it up with these Magic Gathering cards. There had been a lot of speculation it was Lorcana and other stuff, but apparently it was Magic the Gathering. And wheeled them out of the convention hall, just like that, cool as a fucking cucumber. All of it's caught on camera, so not that clever. And if to be believed, the bit I read, the breaking news I'd read before coming on, was that one of these idiots is wearing a t-shirt of his own board game company or something, so they were able to identify, if that is true, who he is, and more importantly, he is a games designer or publisher, or something not of note, certainly not one of the big leagues, but something like that anyway, if that's to be believed, which is stupid, almost Coen-esque, Coen Brothers-esque in the stupidity. But there you go. They did for a brief period of time anyway. They haven't been caught yet, but they have got 300 grand's worth of Magic the Gathering cards that are probably now, who knows, interesting. When will the movie be made? One wonders. How exciting. What a heist. Ballsy, but yeah, maybe think it through a bit better next time, guys. So that was the Gen Con thing. Anyway, I was about to announce Dune Imperium Uprising has been announced, which is, well, it's very cool sounding. There's been some gnashing of teeth, but essentially it's a standalone game, so it kind of works as an entry level for people who want to not have to invest in the original Dune Imperium and the expansions, because essentially it is an expansion for people who have all the previous stuff, because most of it ports over if you want, from what I can see. The original confusion was it just felt like it was originally a whole different game. It plays up to 6 this version, and you can have 2 teams battling off, 2 teams of 3 going at each other, or 2 teams of 2, I guess. All of the stuff from the previous sets is interchangeable. It can be added to it. Likewise, it can be added to that. And I think they're suggesting not to do all of that, but there's mechanisms and stuff that can be pulled over. So the major thing seems to be, I mean, there's a whole bunch of new cars in here and a slightly different board setup and stuff. I do really like Dune Imperium, so I will look at this now with the newfound thought that it's not just a standalone, but actually is a game, an expansion as such almost in its own right. I'm kind of like, well, I might be investing in a bit of that, I guess. So we'll see. There's more develops on that one, I guess. That's it. So I was going to share I had a couple of boxes come this week. One I was going to share from a viewer, which James, thank you James for the lovely gift. It was some equipment to aid me in focusing my camera, so resolving my soft focus camera issues. Bit of equipment to do that, which was very nice of you to do. Unfortunately, I haven't had time today. I'm a bit knackered out to fuck around with it and prepare that equipment, so that will have to wait to a later episode. But James, thank you, sir, for your good efforts of that. And we have received another box, which I've literally, I don't even think I've opened this up. This came from Board and Dice. No, I haven't opened this up. This came literally as I think Friday when I was going to go out to the camping. It is Barcelona. So yes, this is Board and Dice. There's a Danny Garcia, the actual designer of this, has got a bit on Board Game Geek at the moment. I think it's all to do with building the city of Barcelona. They obviously Danny's come from there, and it's a game all about that. I remember reading a little bit about it. That's what I can say. But yeah, we'll see. As to add to the list, because I've already got Books of Time, which we haven't yet managed to get to the table. So once Frosthaven, next week or so, with Frosthaven's banged out the way, then we'll have this to look at, that to look at, and a few other things to get to the table and have a play with. So some content coming. How exciting for you all there. Been digging into the Hearthstone again. Like in the Hearthstone new season, the new Titans deck's quite cool. I'm currently at the Gold Leagues, just moving into Platinum on my rankings. I'm doing quite well. So me and Son Number 2 have been kind of, calculating the odds, and quite exciting. If I should reach somewhere into if I can get the Platinum League, or if I can get through Platinum to Legendary League or whatever it is, then I will reactivate the Twitch account, and I'll get the account on there, and we'll do some live recordings or stuff of me being a fucking idiot at Hearthstone and get my ass whooped it. So that's a possibility. I have a Twitch account, I've got a Twitch channel, got Twitch stuff, I've just never really done anything with it. I've never really, I got it with the intent of thinking, well, I play a lot of Hearthstone when I'm not doing other stuff. I could Twitch that, and then I could, it could be just something else. I could make my billions. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, it's something I could be doing towards the channel while I was doing stuff in my downtime, if that makes sense. Making use of that time. So yes, I might see how we do. If it looks like I'm getting somewhere, then I'll pop the details up, and I'll do some Twitch stuff, live stuff. I won't really better tell you when. It'll be just kind of on a whim. Definitely around the weekends. I'll be doing some battlegrounds maybe on Thursdays. So if there's interest in that, I'd obviously be on there and will be shouting at the screen. I don't know if there is, but that's there as a thing. So let me know if you think about that. Any feedback? Appreciated. And other than that, I have been watching stuff. I'm just trying to rack my brain, but not a lot. Nothing comes to mind of note of late that I don't think I've already told you. So that's it. That's where we're at the moment. That's been one. I'm very tired. I'm going to look forward to sleeping in my own bed tonight. And I've got a couple of days free of, to myself to point, other than the big boys, Isaac and she who will not game, away until Wednesday. So, happy days. I can have pant days, except I have to go to work. Can't really wear just pants to work, can I? No, that's not work. But there's a possibility I can enjoy myself for a few days. So, there you go. That's it. That echoed. I'm shouting. Oh my goodness. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I'll be a bit more refreshed and perky next time I catch up with you. But for the time being, enjoy those games you're playing. Play some more. Play all the games. Hopefully I'll get to play some of this new stuff very soon. And I'll be catching up, soon, hopefully. Until then, ta-ta. Good night, goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you're watching this the weekend. I'm purely intending to do pretty much fuck all for the rest of the evening. I might edit this video. That's it. Cheers, goodbye, ta-ta, farewell.